Hello and welcome to Cooking the Books with Heather. Today we're going to be working mostly here at the stove because we are working out of David Lebovitz's Drinking French cookbook again. And we're going to be making something the kids can taste this time, hot chocolate, chocolat chaud. And full confession, this is the second time we're making this because we had some technical snafus the first time. So, the first time I made it using a chopped chocolate bittersweet. I think it was a little over 70% cacao. I decided this time I was going to use chocolate chips so I didn't have to chop chocolate because that's one of my least favorite things to do in the kitchen. So I'm using these Ghirardelli bittersweet chocolate chips. They're 60%, so it was already chopped up for me. And we're just going to add the milk. Now it serves 2 to 4 people, it says. I would say it's probably closer to 4. It's a really thick, really rich hot chocolate. And the last time, I don't think any of us could have more than a quarter of it at one time. So we're gonna warm this until it almost boils. He does not say over what heat. I want to kind of get it up a little bit faster than last time because it took forever. So I think I'm going to go medium high for this. But we don't want it to boil because milk will very quickly boil over. And we have a whisk, which we're going to use as it heats up. We want to incorporate this very well and hopefully not burn the chocolate because that is a bad thing. You don't want that. And so this uses whole milk and not heavy cream or half and half or anything like that. But it does turn out to be very thick and very rich. So it seems like it might have a lot of cream, but it really just has a lot of chocolate in it. So we're going to be bringing this up to almost a boil. And then we'll let you know what we do after that as soon as we get there. All right, so this is now kind of almost starting to boil. You can see little bubbles popping on the surface, and I want to turn it down now. He says to turn it to the lowest heat you have and let it simmer. I know mine won't be simmering on my lowest heat. I think I'm going to go with yeah, maybe about a 2. I did it at the lowest heat before, but I think this is better. Anyway, so we're supposed to whisk for 3 minutes, and I'm just going to watch the clock. It took about 6 or 7 minutes to come up to a boil. Anyway, so now I'm going to whisk for about 3 minutes. I've whisked this for 3 to 4 minutes on the lowest heat, and he says to remove it from the heat. I'm not going to bother too much. My element didn't get that hot. You can tell because my stove doesn't say that it's hot currently. So often with my induction range, I don't bother moving it off if I think that the stove isn't that hot. Anyway, so we're going to let it sit until we feel like we can taste it because depending on the type of chocolate that you used, how much cacao is in the chocolate that you used, and your personal preferences for how sweet you want it. At that point, once it's cool enough to taste, you should add sugar. I did not actually get out any sugar. He suggests sort of a natural turbinado type sugar, a raw sugar, raw granulated, or any other, or even light brown sugar to add to this. I think with the 70, maybe 2, I think it is, percent cacao chocolate that I used, we added about 1 packet per quarter serving, so per quarter of the recipe. And that was good for us, maybe even a little bit sweet for people who like a bitter chocolate. But that's when you decide. In fact, I think it doesn't get super hot. So I'm going to try it right now. Like I said, I didn't take any out because this is a lot less cacao, like more than 10% less. Yeah, it's not that hot. And it is perfectly sweet enough for us. At this point, you can drink it immediately, or you can rewarm it. You can let it sit for 15 minutes to relax, and then rewarm it to your preferred drinking temperature after that. We're going to let it sit for a couple minutes, and then we're just going to drink it. It gets thicker and thicker the cooler it gets, but it is really a rich and delicious hot chocolate. But we'll come back and let you know what everybody thought of it in just a bit. On this episode of Cooking the Books with Heather, you watched me make the Chocolat Chaud from David Lebovitz's Drinking French book for the second time. You guys didn't get to see the first time. Anyway, so he suggests serving this either with Armagnac marshmallows, which is a recipe in the book that I have not made, but I used these bourbon marshmallows that I got in a Christmas gift basket, or with whipped cream, and I of course just used some canned whipped cream because yeah. Anyway, so this is a really thick, rich, and delicious hot chocolate that I did not think my kids would like, but they would like to tell you whether they do or not. So you want to taste it?
Not as thick as it used to be.
So our first one seemed a little bit thicker, but we used a higher cacao content, so maybe that's why. A higher cacao content chocolate, so maybe that is why. But
how do you hold this thing?
Use 3 fingers instead of 4. Through the thing. Well, yeah, hold it like that, just like that. I tried to find some smaller cups, which is, that's all right, we'll wash it. So
we loved it! It's my opinion.
What do you think?
We loved it!
It's hot chocolate, so can't go wrong there, apparently. This does get much thicker as it cools, which is another thing. I think it was maybe a little bit cooler when they had it last time, but it is not so hard. I have to say, I've made hot chocolate from chocolate, not cocoa, before in the microwave. You just have to be a little bit more careful to take it out. Like when you melt chocolate in the microwave, you have to take it out and stir it pretty often. But I've done it that way and it makes it a little bit easier. But this is not that hard. It's only 2 to 3 ingredients, not including whatever you want to top it with. So let me know if you decide to try this and if you enjoyed it, what you think of it in the comments down below. Hit the subscribe button and come back and watch me make something else next week.